All right, guys, here is section 2 worksheet. So this is where we will stop as far as going forward with the chapter stuff. And then we're just going to do some practice with these types of problems and just making sure that you're getting the math side of things down, because section 3 and 4, you cannot do those sections unless you know how to do the math. I really hate that you guys aren't here for me to just, sit with you and make sure that you know what's going on. So I'm trying to do as many videos as I can. But if you need to come up here and see me, please do that, or FaceTime, or was it Google Meets, or whatever we can do so that we can maybe get you guys understanding this a little bit better. All right, so, and I'll say this over and over again, and I'll tell you guys to write this down over and over again. You're going to normally be going from one substance to another substance. Now, if you're not going from one substance to another substance, it's just one step. I would go from grams to moles of something. Say, I'm just going to pick something like sodium. I'm going to go from grams of sodium to moles of sodium, or moles of sodium to grams. You can go back and forth. Now, if they say sodium, but they want oxygen, or they want Na2O, sodium oxide, then I've got to switch over into a new element, and that's when I have to do this new step, moles of number 2, whatever I'm trying to get to. Now, I could do 2 steps, or they could go a step further and say they want to know how many grams that is. So then you would have to do a 3rd step. Now, on this, it's always figuring out what are they asking for, grams of Na2O, and this is what they give me. So I need moles of number 1. So I am starting, guys, right here. I'm at moles of number 1, and I need to get to grams of number 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2. So this is going to be a 2-stepper. Now, right before everything happened with COVID last year, we were doing these, but this is probably one of the hardest things for students to grasp. So it is good that we're getting maybe a little extra work here on it. All right, so the first step is write down what they give you. That is 2.5 moles of sodium. All right, now moles of sodium are going to go on the bottom. Now look, I'm going from moles of 1 to moles of 2, so it's going to be moles on top, but it's this, Na2O. Now anytime you have a mole to mole, you are going to use your equation, and the equation up here tells me that I have 4 moles of sodium for every 2 moles of sodium oxide. All right, so that cancels out. Right now my answer would be in moles, but they want grams. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put moles of Na2O on bottom because they need to cancel out through division. Grams of Na2O on top. Now sodium weighs, see here, sodium weighs 23, and there are 2 of them. So this is 46 plus 16, which is going to be 62 grams in 1 mole. So I'm going to take 2.5, multiply by 2, divide by 4, multiply by 62, and you should get 77.5 grams of sodium oxide. All right, so that's a 2-stepper. Let's look at B. As soon as I see grams to grams, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a 3-step problem because I'm going to start here, and I need to get down here to grams of number 2. So I know it's going to be 3 steps. I'm going to write down what they give me, and I automatically know it's going to look like this right here. Now I just need to know what to fill in here, and I've got sodium, and I'm trying to get to oxygen. My first step, though, is grams of 1 to moles of 1. So I'm going to have grams of my first to moles of my first. I know my second step is going to be moles of my first, which is right here, moles of Na. And I'm trying to get to moles of now my new one, which is going to be oxygen. So moles of O2. I know this last step will be moles of my second one, so moles of O2, of my new one, to grams of my new one. All right, so I filled out all the units. Now I just need to go back and fill out what these are. Now, anytime I see grams, I'm looking at the periodic table, and sodium is 23 grams in 1 mole. I'm going to do the same down here. Oxygen is 16, but there are 2 of them. So it's going to be 32 grams in 1 mole. This middle step, mole to mole, I'm going to use the equation. O2, there is 1. Na, there are 4. All right, so now everything's filled out. I'm going to take 18 divided by 23, divided by 4, multiplied by 32, and I get 6.26 grams, I believe, of oxygen. All right, on C, it's another grams to grams. So it's going to be 3 steps. So I'm going to write down what they give me, which is 75 grams of Na2O. I know it's going to be 3 steps, but I'm going to kind of go step by step on this one. So my first step is getting 2 moles of my original. So grams of 1 to moles of 1. Now Na2O, sodium weighs 23, but there are 2 of them, so that's 46, plus the 16 from oxygen. It's going to be 62 and 1 mole. So that cancels out. Now I'm going to go from moles of my original here to moles of number 2. So the moles of my original is that Na2O. What I'm trying to flip over to is just oxygen. Mole to mole, use your equation. So Na2O is 2. Oxygen is 1. Now I need to figure out how much is that going to weigh. So I'm going to go from moles of my new one to grams of my new one. So I'm going to put moles of O2 down here, grams of O2 there. Oxygen, O2 weighs 32. 1 oxygen is 16, but I have 2 of them. I've seen that quite a bit here in the past week as people giving me 16 for O2. It is 32. So 75 divided by 62, divided by 2, multiply that by 32, and your answer is 19.35 grams of O2. All right, guys, this up here is so important to make sure you write down and really look at, okay, what did they give me? What are they asking for? I'm right away going to know how many steps. And I remember doing that with you guys last year, just being like, how many steps is this going to be before we ever work it? All right, so we'll look at number 2. Here it is moles of hydrogen to grams of something different. It's going to be a 2-step problem. So I'm going to do 1.80 moles of H2. I'm going to have moles of H2 on bottom. And once I'm in moles, I'm going to switch over now to moles of my new stuff, which is going to be NH3. And I'm going to use the equation anytime you see mole to mole. H2 is 3, NH3 is 2. Okay, so that cancels out. My answer would be in moles of ammonium right now. So I'm going to put moles of NH3 down here. Grams of NH3. Nitrogen is 14, hydrogen is 1, but there are 3 of them. So this is going to be 17 grams altogether. So 1.8 times 2 divided by 3 times 17 is 20.4 grams. All right. On B, we have grams to grams, so it's going to be a 3-step problem. Once again, make sure you have that guide written down. Let that help you. All right, so I've got 2.8 grams of nitrogen. Nitrogen is 14, but there are 2 of them, so 28 grams of nitrogen in 1 mole of nitrogen. So there's my first step, grams to moles of my first original stuff. Now I got to switch over from moles of number 1 to moles of number 2. So I'm going to do moles of sodium on bottom so it can cancel out. I'm going to get over to, I want hydrogen. Mole to mole, use your equation. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I keep writing Na here. This is N2. N2, there are 1. Hydrogen, there are 3. Now I've got to switch over to grams. So in 1 mole of H2, there are 2 grams of H2. All right, hydrogen weighs 1, but there's 2 of them. So 2.8 divided by 28 times 3 times 2 is 0.6 grams of H2. C is a 3-step problem also, grams to grams. Same exact process that we just did above. 12 grams of H2. I'm going to put grams of H2. This is grams of my original, moles of my original, number 1. 1 mole is 2 grams. Okay, then that second step is a mole to mole. I've got to go from moles of my number 1, my original, to moles of the new one. Anytime you see a mole to mole, equation. There are 2 of these, 3 hydrogens. And then the last step, going to grams. moles of my number 2 or my new substance to grams of that new substance. NH3 weighs 17 and 1 mole. So 12 divided by 2 times 2 divided by 3 times 17 is 68 grams of NH3. All right? So let's look at the back. Once again, guys, if you're like, I am still just struggling, like, let me know. We will set up a time for you to come in to something, Google Meet, something, we'll figure it out. Okay, on the back side, I don't know if I made you guys do this one or not. When the or lead 2 sulfide burns in oxygen, so this was just a little bit more practice with writing these things out. So this Roman numeral 2 means a positive 2, sulfide's a negative 2, so it's good. It burns in oxygen gas, so it's got to be O2. The products are lead 2 oxide, those all work out okay, and sulfur dioxide means 2 oxygens. So this right here, the PBO, is an ionic bond. It's got charges. That tells me it does. But the charges cancel out. When I see sulfur and I see the dioxide, I'm like, ooh, covalent. So it's going to tell me exactly how to write this. That's why it's dioxide. All right, so if I'm looking at this, though, it is not balanced. I have 2 oxygens plus 1 is 3, and I have 2 here. So here's my problem. I can never have an odd number of oxygens. I can't over here, so I'm going to put a 2 here. So now that gives me 4 oxygens, so I'm going to put a 2 here, 4 oxygens. I have 2 leads, so I'm going to put a 2 here. That's going to give me 2 leads. Now the problem is that this now gives me 2 sulfurs. So I'm going to have to put a 2 here, 2 sulfurs, but that messes up the oxygens, right? I have 4 oxygens plus these 2 are 6. So I need to change this to a 3. Okay, now it's all balanced out. So that's A. I did A up there. I don't know why. What type of reaction is this? Well, this is a single replacement. It's single because this oxygen is by itself. So single replacement. Here is moles of lead 2 sulfide, 2 grams of oxygen to something new. So it's going to be a 2-step problem. If it were grams to grams, it would be 3-step. So I'm going to go 0.125 moles of PBS. Now, if you do that mole to mole, moles of 1 of your first to moles of your new or number 2. And that's just oxygen, right? Mole to mole, use your equation. Oxygen is 3, PBS is 2. Now for the gram side of things. These cancel out. Moles of O2, moles of your new, to grams of your new. O2 weighs 32 grams in 1 mole. So 0.125 times 3 divided by 2 times 32, and that is 6 grams of oxygen. All right. I'm going to tell you how many steps D and E are, and I'll give you the answer. I want to see if you guys can set these up. So on D, grams, 2 grams are going to be 3 steps. And the answer is 17.4 grams of SO2. On E, we have grams to grams, so you're going to have 3 steps. And the answer is, I believe, 136.6 grams. All right, so I'm giving you the answer. I'm telling you how many steps you're going to have. So you have to be like, okay, well, I know it's going to be 65 grams of PBS, and I know it's going to look like this. Guys, right now I cannot tell you how important it is for you to show me your steps so that I can look and say, oh, you did everything perfect except for this one thing. I had a lot of people that I'm like, ooh, this is set up right, or this whole thing's right except for this one number. And it may have been you added your grams wrong. That's fine. That's easy to fix. Like, as long as you can get this set up, So it's really, really important right now that you show me your steps so I can see if you got it wrong. I can see like why. Is it a very simple fix, or maybe it's just you don't understand how to set the problem up in general. But let me know that. It's so tough when you're not here for me to see like what exactly it is you're struggling with. So let me know what you guys need, all right? All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.